I was cleaning out my late mother's storage unit when I found letters. Hundreds. All from my husband to my sister. They'd been writing since before we got married. The most recent one read, "Once her mom's gone, she'll be too broken to fight." I took pictures of every letter, made copies, and read them aloud at our family Christmas dinner. My dad stood up and said, "You're dead to me." My sister ran out crying. My husband tried to grab the letters from me. I just whispered, "You already buried me once. Now it's your turn." When I left that storage unit, my hands were shaking so bad I could barely drive. I kept pulling over every few minutes just to breathe. I didn't cry anymore. I couldn't. I think I lost the part of me that could feel pain right then. It had gone numb. When I got home, Brian was on the couch watching football. He asked how it went, if I found anything worth keeping. I just said, "Some old stuff." He didn't even look up from the screen. I spent the next few days scanning every letter, front and back. Some had lipstick marks. Some had perfume on them. Others had receipts folded inside. One was from a hotel in Nashville. He'd taken her on a business trip and told me the company didn't allow spouses. They'd been laughing behind my back for almost 20 years. She was my little sister. Megan. She was always the golden child. Prettier, thinner, more charming. Mom used to say, "Be more like Megan," even when we were adults. I used to let it slide. I used to think she just needed more love than I did. I used to defend her. Now I felt like I was looking at a stranger. A monster wearing her face. I didn't tell anyone, not yet. I wanted the moment to be perfect. I wanted every word to hit them like a slap. I wanted it all to come out in one blow, like an explosion no one could stop. I planned for weeks. Christmas was always at our place. Our house had the biggest dining room. Brian loved showing off the kitchen he remodeled last year. We usually had 15 people, my dad, my 2 brothers, their wives and kids, a few cousins. Megan always came alone. Said she hadn't found the right guy. The joke was on me. 2 nights before Christmas, I sat alone in the living room after everyone went to bed. I took the original letters and carefully sorted them into a box. Then I printed out the copies. Put them in separate envelopes with names written on each. Dad. Paul. Rick. Dana. Even Aunt Bev. I didn't write anything else. Just the letters. Let them speak for themselves. When Christmas Eve came, I felt calm. Not peaceful. But focused. Like I was holding something sharp, and I finally knew how to use it. Dinner started normal. Too normal. Brian made his usual garlic prime rib. Megan brought her famous cranberry salad that no one ever ate. My dad brought wine. The kids were running around, opening presents early. Music played softly in the background, Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole. I waited until the plates were cleared. Until everyone was full and sitting back, satisfied. Then I said, "I found something in Mom's storage. Thought you all should see it." I handed out the envelopes. People started opening them. Slowly. A few confused looks. A couple chuckles. Then frowns. Then dead silence. I stood at the head of the table with the box of original letters. I opened the first one and read, "July 2005 I dreamt about you again last night. I keep seeing you when I'm with her. I don't know what that means. But I know I want you." My cousin Bev laughed nervously. "What is this?" I ignored her. I read the next one. December 2010 she thinks I'm hers now. But she doesn't see the truth. We could still run. I'd leave tomorrow if you said yes. Everyone was frozen. My dad was staring at Megan. My brother Paul's mouth hung open. Then I read the one from the week I lost our baby. May 2013 she cried all night. I said everything I was supposed to. But inside, I felt free. Like it was a sign. That's when I saw Megan's face crack. Her hand shot out. "Stop," she said. "Just stop." Brian stood up too. "Give me those," he snapped. "This isn't the place." I stepped back. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "You already buried me once. Now it's your turn." My dad pushed his chair back and stood up. "You're dead to me," he told Megan. Then he looked at Brian. "And you, get your stuff and get out. You don't belong in this family." Brian tried to talk. No one listened. Megan ran from the room sobbing. Brian followed her. I just stood there, holding the letters. No one moved for a long time. The house was quiet after they left. Everyone looked like they'd just walked away from a crash. Dazed. Broken. Some were whispering, but no one said much. My brother Rick finally stood and walked over to me. "You knew all this?" he asked. His voice wasn't angry. Just shocked. I nodded. "For how long?" "Since October. I found them while clearing Mom's things." His face twisted. "Jesus." He didn't say anything else. Just gave me a weird kind of hug, stiff, like he didn't know what to do with his arms. Everyone left early that night. No one wanted dessert. No one said Merry Christmas. When the last car pulled away, I locked the front door, sat down at the kitchen table, and let myself cry. Really cry. For the first time since it all began. The house felt cold. Empty. Like something had died here. Brian didn't come home that night. Or the next. But Megan did. She showed up around noon. I saw her through the window, standing in the snow with no coat, arms crossed, face pale. I opened the door. Didn't say a word. She stepped in and looked around like she hadn't stood in this house 1,000 times before. "I didn't know he kept the letters," she said. I laughed. Actually laughed. "That's what you're opening with?" Her lips trembled. "I never meant to hurt you." I pointed to the stack of paper on the table. "Every single one of these says otherwise." She sat down like her knees gave out. I stayed standing. "I didn't want your life," she whispered. "But you didn't mind borrowing my husband?" Silence. Then she said something I didn't expect. "I was pregnant once. With his baby." I felt like the air got sucked out of the room. I gripped the back of a chair to steady myself. "When?" 2012, the year before my miscarriage. "I had an abortion," she said. "He didn't want it. He said if I kept it, we'd figure things out." That's when I knew he wasn't in love with me. He just wanted out of you. I shook my head. "You're blaming him now?" "No," she said. "I'm telling you he used us both." I didn't want her sympathy. I didn't want her guilt. I wanted her gone. "Leave," I said. She started crying. But she left. I filed for divorce. Brian didn't contest it. I think he knew the fight was over. Or maybe he just didn't want the letters read in court. Turns out he'd been borrowing against our house. Took out a second mortgage I never knew about. I froze our joint accounts before he could drain them. I also called his job. Sent them a few choice letters. He lost his promotion. HR started an investigation. Apparently sleeping with your wife's sister and writing graphic letters about it on company time is frowned upon. My dad called me. "You okay?" he asked. "Not really." "Good," he said. "Means you're still human." Then he paused. "Megan's moving. Out west. Says she needs to start over." I didn't say anything. "She asked me if I'd ever speak to her again," he said. "Told her maybe. Someday. But not now." Another pause. You, come over for dinner this week? Yeah, I said. I'd like that. Just when I thought things were starting to settle down, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Brian's mother. Now, you have to understand something, she and I were never close. She always seemed cold. Polite, but distant. She lived in Milwaukee, didn't visit much, sent birthday cards with no notes inside. But now, her voice on the phone was shaky. Can we meet? She asked. It's important. I almost said no. Almost hung up. But curiosity got the better of me. We met at a diner off the highway halfway between Springfield and Milwaukee. She ordered coffee. I didn't get anything. She got right to the point. I knew, she said. I stared at her. You knew what? She looked down at her hands. Not all of it. Not the letters. But I knew about Megan. 4 years. I leaned back. Felt like I'd been punched again. I asked him once, she said. Point blank. Are you cheating on her? He looked me in the eye and said no. But I knew he was lying. He always had that smirk when he lied. Same one he had as a kid. She took a breath. I should have told you. But I thought, if it was just a fling, maybe it would pass. It wasn't a fling, I said. It was a life. A second life. She nodded slowly. I know that now. Then she pulled something out of her purse. An envelope. I found this at his place. Thought you should have it. I opened it right there. It was a letter. From Megan. Not to Brian, but to me. It was dated 2 weeks before our wedding. I read it in silence. My hands trembled more with every line. I never planned for it to happen, it said. But it did. And I don't know how to undo it. He says he loves me. But he's marrying you. And I think he means it when he says he loves you too. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I looked up. She never sent this. His mother shook her head. I found it hidden in one of his boxes. Maybe she gave it to him. Maybe he took it. Either way, you were never supposed to see it. I left the diner feeling sick. Not because of the letter. But because of what it meant. She had doubts. She wanted to come clean. And he buried it. I texted Megan. Just 5 words. I found the unsent letter. She called me within minutes. You have no idea how many times I wanted to tell you, she said. Then why didn't you? I was scared. He said he'd ruin me. Said you'd never believe me. I paused. Would you have let me marry him if I had read that letter? Silence. Then, no, that silence said everything. The divorce was still moving forward. I was living in the house alone. Brian was staying at some motel outside town. But one night, I saw a car parked across the street. Same car. 3 nights in a row. Always around 10 p.m. Lights off. No movement. On the 4th night, I walked right up to it with my phone in hand. Snapped a photo. Knocked on the window. It rolled down. Brian. He looked wrecked. Pale. Tired. Greasy hair. Stubble on his face. What the hell are you doing here? I asked. I miss you, he said. You miss what? I snapped. Your punching bag? Your cover? No, he said. I miss us. Before it all fell apart. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You threw us away 20 years ago. Then he said something that froze me. I think someone's following me. I blinked. What? I've been getting letters, he said. Anonymous. No return address. Someone knows everything. Not just you. Things even you don't know. He handed me one. Typed. No handwriting. Just one line. Confession is just the beginning. I stood there, holding that typed letter in my hand, wind cutting through my coat like a blade. Is this some kind of trick? I asked him. Are you trying to scare me into pity? Brian shook his head, eyes wide. I swear, I don't know who's doing this. They've sent 3 letters. One to my motel, one to my office before I got fired, and one was taped to my car window. I looked at the paper again. The words were sharp. Chilling. Confession is just the beginning. And suddenly, something clicked in my mind. Brian had enemies. And not just me. He'd lied to so many people. Used them. But who else knew everything? Who else would want him to suffer, and know exactly how? There was only one name that made sense. Megan. She wanted to punish him. And now, she was doing it her way. I went home that night but couldn't sleep. I kept going over every word, every moment, everything that still didn't sit right. Around 3 a.m., I drove across town to Megan's apartment. I knew she hadn't left for the West Coast yet. Dad mentioned she was still sorting things out. Her lights were off, but I knocked anyway. She answered in a robe, mascara smudged under her eyes. You, she said, voice flat. I figured. You're sending him letters, I said. She didn't even deny it. Instead, she turned around, walked to the kitchen, and came back holding a small stack of envelopes. All typed. All sealed. I was going to send another tomorrow, she said. Why? Because he still thinks he won, she said. Even after everything. He still looks at me like I'm weak. Like we're weak. Like he got away with it. You think this fixes something? No, she said. But I want him to feel it. The way we felt it. And then she said something that stuck in my throat. I thought I was ruining your life. But really, I ruined mine. And he just walked away like nothing happened. She gave me the letters. I'm done now, she said. You can decide what to do with them. I mailed every single letter. Not to Brian. To every woman he ever worked with. His old bosses. His new landlord. Even a few of his old college friends. The letters weren't threats, they were stories. All the truth. What he did. What he said. Copies of the old letters between him and Megan. Let them all see who he really was. The house was finally sold. I moved into a small condo on the edge of town. Peaceful. Quiet. Just me. Megan did move west. Last I heard, she was working in a bookstore in Oregon. We don't talk much. I think we both know we'll never be what we were. But we were honest, in the end. That counts for something. Brian? Last I heard, he was living with his brother. Fired. Sued by one of his ex-colleagues for harassment. Estranged from most of his family. No one returns his calls. I got a letter from him recently. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. It just said, I still don't understand how you turned everyone against me. I didn't respond. Because I didn't turn anyone. He did. He built the fire. I just opened the windows and let the smoke pour out.